to The Private Record. This is your host, Matt D'Elia, as you know, and we have, you know what we have? I think, dude, is this the first one we ever recorded? I think this is number, okay. This is not the first one we ever recorded, but it's close. I recorded it at my home office, which is pretty rare. The only, I believe, one so far that we've done from my home and not here, our studio here, was the very first episode that we dropped on YouTube. But here we are again. You're going to see my home office. So welcome to my home in like a minute or two. But for now, we're in the studio introducing the guest. This is a genuinely, how do I even frame this guy? There are those people that we all know that I know like one or two of these people, and they get in, it's like their whole thing is just like getting into shit. They get into shit. They always like have a crazy story that like every month they have like a new thing. Like, I don't know, I didn't mean to, but I ended up in like a parade, and like I was driving the car, and then afterwards, like this, I met this old guy and he took me on his boat, and there were these like Hooters waitresses there. You're just like, what are you talking about? You know? Anyway, this is one of those guys. What's his name again? Andrew. Forgot his name. It was a long time ago. Andrew is one of those guys, and his story starts, I'm just going to say where it starts, because it's like the ziggiest, zaggiest, most absurd thing you could possibly imagine. But it starts with him just having a mindset. And the mindset was to say yes to things. And I've heard people like, I know that showrunner, famous showrunner, Shonda Rhimes wrote a book. I think it was called like The Year of Yes. There's like a lot of people, successful people, who talk about how what leads to success is starting to say yes to things. Actually, I think the book she wrote is The Year of No. Anyway, there's like this philosophy of like saying yes, embracing what comes. Anyway, Andrew did this, and it kicks him off on this crazy adventure throughout, kind of across America. And he ends up in, I'm not going to give too much away if I say this, he ends up in a stranger's hot tub, naked. The stranger's a guy. Andrew's straight, but the stranger's a guy. Andrew's naked. The stranger's naked in his hot tub at his home. And the stranger has a machete, and they're eating ribs. Okay? So what am I going to say besides that? That's all you need to know. If you want to be a guest on the show, go to theprivaterecord.com and submit yourself as a potential guest. Of course, follow us on all socials, Instagram, TikTok, at The Private Record. And please, oh, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Private Record. Like, comment, do your thing there. And please, of course, the most, my greatest wish is that you share news about the show, share the links, share episodes with your friends and family and anyone you meet. You meet them on the street, poke them and say, hey, watch The Private Record, and send them a link. Because I want to do this forever. And the way we ensure that can happen is if the whole world watches. So let's get the whole world watching. Thank you for doing your part. I love you. I'll always love you. You're in my heart forever. Thank you. All right, Andrew. Let's do this, man. Let's get right into it. What do you got for me?
Okay,
for us, I should say.
Yeah. So this is a story about traveling, and it's weird and involves interesting details. Or I don't know. It just kind of jumps around in weird places. But basically, this is my go-to story for when I'm like, this is my best story. But in 2020, like most of us, I had a lot of grand plans for my life. Sure. I was graduating college. I'd just written a magical, which was like a musical, but instead of singing songs, they like do magic tricks, and we had to perform. And
I'm sorry, I got to stop you right there. I gotta stop you when it requires being stopped. Is that a thing, or did you just make that up right now?
No. So I got hired by my magician friend to do it.
Come on. I mean, I almost want to deviate already and have this be the story, but okay. Do that. Tell me about this. It's called a magical. These things. This is something.
Kind of made it up.
He made it
Like
up.
it was like the first time it had ever really, yeah.
So you're like the pioneer in the genre in the thing
Yeah,
that is
but
a
it was
magical. Okay.
weird. It was weird.
Okay.
It was fun, like, but it was weird because, yeah, it's like I then from there started like writing for a lot of magicians, and
Oh
it's like
wow. Okay.
because
Wow.
just because you're really good at magic doesn't mean you like know how to talk.
Oh, dude, I would imagine the opposite is true. If you're good at magic, the chances of you being able to talk or carry on just like a
Exactly.
regular like dinner order are probably not peak. You know what I mean? But yeah, okay. So they got you. You can write. You're here to
Yeah.
help out the magician. Okay.
So no, yeah. So I was gonna do this whole 3-month run. We had a show. We had a weekend run. It went pretty well. We were gonna have a 3-month run, summer 2020.
Wow.
COVID happens.
Yeah.
I'm sort of stuck in my room, don't really know what to do. I was gonna go travel after I graduated, all this stuff, and then I end up taking a job because I was looking for a job, couldn't find anything, and I started
Mhm.
working at like a treatment center for teenagers. So
Treatment as in like, yeah,
like
what are we
drugs and
talking
alcohol and
about? Okay.
also like mental health.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So I'm doing that and I go in it really positive, being like, I can be of service, I can be
Right.
this guy, I can help a lot of people. And very quickly I realized, oh no, I'm basically just like a glorified prison guard, like babysitter.
I mean, yeah, it
Uh,
sounds noble. When you said that, I was like, damn, you kind of struck gold with that. But okay, it's not
yeah,
exactly what you think it's going to be. Okay.
no. And it's like I love helping people, but
Mhm.
when I'm getting paid, it sort of messes up part, you know?
Yep.
Like when
Yeah,
you're getting
sure.
paid to do
Right.
something that you would do for free, it sort of
Right.
messes up part of your brain sometimes.
That's interesting because just to clarify that, because it's like it's such you feel like it's charity, and then you when you mix payment and the whole occupational part, it's like it becomes almost like not about the charitable aspect of it. You mean?
Yeah, partly like, and there are definitely professions where it's like you're being very helpful and also getting
Right.
money.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
with this, it's like I like helping people who want to be helped. And because
Okay.
we're
Right.
all
Right. Right. Right.
teenagers, none of them really want to be helped.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was basically just a bully. So I had said before I took the job, the guy who gave me the job was like, you need to commit a year.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay. And 3 months in, I was like, I want out of this. I was like the most miserable I've ever been in my life. But I stuck around because I said I'd be there for a year.
Okay. Let
And
me ask
then
you, just because of COVID, is it like nonstop masking and all that too? Or
asking the whole time.
okay, okay,
I moved back home with my parents
okay.
and my mom's older. So I was like not really leaving the house, even like just being
Sure.
super, super safe.
Right. Right.
And so then 2 weeks before my year, I tell my boss I'm gonna quit. And
Okay.
he talks shit about me. He's like, that's bad. Either he just was like, you never were able to find service and like stuff like that. And I was like, I said I would do a year. I did a year. I wanted to quit 9 months ago. Like,
Oh,
just
damn, he
give me some
called you
slack.
out, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
What a dick.
yeah.
You did the year. What's like the problem?
I don't
He
know.
just
I
didn't want
think
to find a replacement. You know what I mean? Like he was just being
no,
lazy.
no, and it's hard. Like
Mhm,
I
mhm.
get where he's coming from. Like,
Right.
especially nowadays, it's like so hard to find any form of labor.
Sure. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I've gotten most of my jobs is it's like, I know a guy, and then it's
Right.
like I'm just a body. Yeah.
Right, 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 right. Yeah. There is work out there, everyone. If you don't know this, there is work as long as you're willing to work. Okay. But
And do
yeah.
anything.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, clear. Yeah.
um, and so I had scheduled this trip. I was actually supposed to go on Birthright, which if you don't know what that is, it's like if you're Jewish, you basically get a free trip to Israel.
Okay. Yeah, wait. Tell me about that real quick though, because I think a lot of people don't know about this.
So I was supposed to go. It ended up getting canceled. I just went a couple months ago. Basically, like the Israeli government gives a lot of money to this program that sends young Jewish kids from other countries to
Mhm.
Israel and basically do like a 10-day tour.
Oh wow. I didn't realize it was that cool. That's great.
So I'm in New York about to leave for Birthright, and it gets canceled 3 days before because of one of the variants.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
And so I'm like, oh, I just quit my job. I was going to go to Europe after that. Like, I was going to go travel for 3 months. I had nothing planned. I was like, what am I going to do?
Okay.
I had money saved up from living at home
Mm.
and working this job. So I was like, what am I going to do? And my friends were in New Orleans.
Your
And
friends were in New Orleans, you said?
yeah, my friends are
Okay.
from New Orleans and they were
Okay.
staying there. And I ended up going there. And I was like, I'm going to backpack the South.
The
And
American
not
South.
like backpack, like hiking. I'm not a big hiking guy.
Okay. So
But like,
not backpacking at all, but okay. Yeah.
no, like living out of a backpack.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Like, okay. Got you. Yeah.
Like
I
all
got you.
I had a backpack, like that's all I really had.
You were living the backpack life, basically.
Exactly. Just
Okay. Yeah.
not
Cool.
hiking.
Right.
That's not.
That also actually sounds terrible, and nobody wants to do that. But living out of a backpack is kind of cool. There's like
Yeah.
a romance to that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There's something, and I ended up for the past 2 years, 9 months, I just lived out of backpack, and it's like kind of beautiful.
Wow. That's very cool. Okay.
If no one's done it or done solo traveling, like I couldn't recommend it more. It's like one of the
Very
best
cool. Okay. Yeah.
experiences of my life. But so I go to New Orleans. I'm there like a week with my friends, and then I'm like, I'm gonna go to Memphis. I love barbecue. Um, the issue is right before I'm supposed to leave, there's a hurricane, and it's like a big one. And so I end up, my friends are going to Dallas, and I'm like, I don't want to go to Dallas. Sorry if you're from Dallas, but
No. Nobody. The truth is, nobody wants to go to Dallas.
yeah. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
want to go to Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna stick.
And I
with
like
what I'm doing.
Texas, but not. You don't want to go to Dallas.
I
Yeah.
like Texas
Yeah.
too, but I was
Yeah.
like, no. And the so I was supposed to go on a bus, and my friends were like, we're driving, like everyone's leaving. You might get stuck. And I was like, no, I'll be fine. I have the bus tickets already. Like, I'm fine.
Okay.
And it's like a Greyhound.
Right.
But so I get to the bus station in New Orleans. I'm supposed to catch a bus in Baton Rouge and then go to Memphis.
Okay. I've
And
been to all those places. How long is that? How long is that bus ride? Or maybe
like
we don't know.
10 hours, maybe.
Oh, okay. That's a hike. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like it's like 1 or 2 to Baton Rouge, and then like another 6 or 7 or something like that.
Got it.
So I get to the bus station. They're like, there's no more buses. They're like, because the hurricane, like everything was canceled.
Do you remember which hurricane this was?
It was
like
called
always
Ida. Hurricane.
It was Ida. Oh, I remember Ida. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah. And
okay.
So a big theme you might get, like the way I try to live my life is whenever something like bad happens or like interesting for the first time, I just kind of chalk it off as like bucket list.
Okay. Right. You're going to lean in when these things happen.
And it also like, it's good for my mental health.
Sure. Yeah. I get that.
Where I look at things as like, oh, this is an opportunity. Like this is. And
it's all about perspective. You're not like, oh no, woe is me. You're like, this is happening. I'm here. I'm going to experience it and go with it. Yeah. Exactly. That's good. Yeah.
And so they're like, you need to catch a ride to Baton Rouge. I look around the bus station. I'm too terrified to ask anyone if they're going to Baton Rouge. I end up trying to call Ubers. Everyone's canceling.
Oh, God.
A guy shows up and he's like, what? You're going to have to give me a big tip. I'm like, I'll just pay you under the table.
Okay.
It ends up being a 3-hour drive because everyone is leaving.
Oh, God.
And so I'm in the car. The guy the whole time is like, look at this traffic. It's so bad. This is terrible. Like, it's absolutely brutal. Like, he's complaining. He's like, how am I going to get home? Like just complaining. I'm like, I'm giving you a lot of money.
He's
like,
just
I'm
like guilt. So he's guilt tripping you basically for making him do this. Okay,
like,
yeah. What a dick. Okay.
Short part of it is I end up getting there actually 5 minutes before it leaves. Like, it's crazy how that happens, but it's
Wow.
like that's what always happens.
Right. Okay.
Have you experienced that where you like get there like right at the moment you need to be?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do. I have a weird thing that everyone I know is always missing things and late for things. I always, always, always leave at a bad time and happen to get there like just in time. I've never had to learn the hard way. You know what I mean? In that sense.
So
So
you just think you're lucky.
in that way, I am. I would say so. Yeah. I don't think it has anything to do with anything besides just like blind luck. One of these days it's going to happen, and it's going to be a disaster. But yeah, speaking of disasters, please go ahead.
So I'm in the I get to the bus. I just evacuated a hurricane. This is another non sequitur, but I end up getting like the weirdest Facebook message of all time from a former camp counselor of mine.
Wow.
Uh,
That's like a Mad Lib. Okay. Okay. So Facebook message from camp counselor.
yeah.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
don't want to go into too many of the details because but basically he was trying to, he told me, hey, can I pay you for something and then tonight I'll have sex?
Whoa. Stop. What does that mean?
I don't know, but
Oh, so you don't even know what he means or she means.
not when he first said it.
Okay.
I hadn't talked to this guy in like 3 years.
Okay. So what kind of camp was how do
It
you
was
know
just
this?
it was a normal camp, but like he was 19 and I was like 13. And actually,
Oh, okay.
he he like thought we were the cool kids kind of.
Okay.
And like once, like when you're going to camp, we all had like iPods and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he ends up giving me and my friend the Wi-Fi. And when you give 13-year-olds Wi-Fi
Yeah.
at a summer camp, like you know what you're looking up.
Right.
Like
Yes,
you're
I
just
do.
going
Yeah.
straight to porn.
Of course, you're 13.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so straight to porn, the whole like the head of the camp finds out. We end up like getting into an interrogation room with our whole bunk.
Oh, wow.
So
You
like
guys were the cool kids.
what?
Wow. You guys
Yeah,
were
no,
the cool kids.
this
Yeah.
was weird. This is like a weird situation.
So this is already weird with this camp counselor, but do you maintain a relationship with this guy through the years, or what's going on here? He just
mostly
messaged you.
because we both like professional wrestling.
You're a real weird guy. I see
Yeah.
where we're going with this. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're both professional wrestling fans, so you stay in touch with this camp counselor.
But like once a year.
Right. And it's not like tons of contact, but it's like
Almost never like
right.
And so basically I get this message. I'm like, okay, sure. Like I want you to have sex, buddy. Like
But
good.
can you, I'm sorry, just actually this is for me, not just for clarity. Like I'm a little confused. What exactly does the message say again?
So I could just read it.
Okay. Yeah. If you can, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it says, and we haven't even gotten to the story.
I can sense that, but this is good already. So I want to know. I want to stick
I'm
with
just
this.
trying to show you my headspace.
Yeah.
It's not working, but basically
okay. The gist was
he was like, let me give the phone to my partner. And she was like, hey, we stumbled upon you on Facebook Messenger. And I was like, there's no way you stumbled upon me. Like, I haven't talked to you in a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
right,
this is crazy. And the woman is like, Jeff, he has this thing where he likes being like shamed.
Shamed? Like a kink?
Like a kink. Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, like, we want to pay you for how much bigger your dick is than his.
Oh, so that was,
and this was someone who was like an authority figure of mine when I was young.
There's nothing weirder sounding than a former authority figure coming to you, telling you, hey, I want to pay you to show my sex partner that your dick is bigger than mine.
It was his girlfriend saying that.
Okay, that's even weirder, but yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. You're not in the relationship. You don't know. You're just getting this from the outside.
Also a big believer that like whatever they got going on, like that's great for them,
100%. I couldn't agree more. Whatever you do in your own bedroom, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Totally, yeah.
So,
but they're involving you.
that was the weird thing. And like, I knew this person when I was 13. Like, it's a little weird.
Right. Yeah, that's another element of weirdness. So why is he reaching out to you? Do you have any idea?
No idea.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No idea.
But
And
just to, they want you to help shame him for like their
they
sexual
wanted to
endeavors.
pay me money,
Yeah.
basically. I think it's like financial dominance or something.
Okay. Great.
I'm not an expert in that at all. And so, because I kind of try to just say yes to everything, I kind of go along with it. And I'm like, this is making me really uncomfortable, but I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And do it. Like, when it's done, I like call a friend and they're like, you need to block that person immediately. Like, this is not okay.
Yeah,
And
it's not.
so,
Yeah.
I end up, so my head's weird already.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
just
yeah.
evacuated a hurricane. I
Yep.
just had one of the weirdest encounters ever with a former camp counselor of mine.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I'm then in Memphis and I had an Airbnb, but I wanted to stay an extra night to see a little person wrestling show.
Great.
Um,
You should
because
have invited your camp counselor.
I know he was
He would
not
have.
in Memphis,
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
exactly. I would have told him about it if he wasn't left. Yeah. So when I was planning on going to Europe, someone had told me about this app called Couchsurf.
Couch surf. Okay.
And I didn't really know about it. And basically, they were like, "Oh, it's cool. Like, people will just let you stay on their couch for free.
Right. I think I know
Like, they
that. Yeah.
put up
Okay.
their
Yeah.
couches, like, you can stay here, and then you can stay for free." So I had signed up for it, but like, I wasn't in Europe. I was in Memphis. So I
Mm.
go on the app and I reach out to some people and say, "Hey, I'm trying to stay an extra night. Like, can I crash?" And one person gets back to me and they go, like, this is verbatim. They go, "Hey, Andrew, thank you so much for reaching out. I just wanted to make sure you read my profile clearly.
Uh-oh.
I'm a gay nudist, and I encourage my guests to embrace the nudist lifestyle. And
Okay.
if you're okay with that, I would love to have you stay with me."
So you're basically like, do I need a place to crash?
Yeah.
Do I just go along with it? He seems nice, right? Like he's a nice guy,
He
being a nice
seems
guy.
nice. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And he's like,
So,
if you are willing to play by my house rules, please come and crash here. It'll be a
yeah,
swell time. Okay.
yeah. And so I sort of go against my own beliefs. I'm reading the messages. People are like, he's getting really into massage. And I reach
Uh-oh.
out to a lot of friends. Like, I have brain trust basically of people I'll call when these kind of
Mm-hmm.
situations come up. And
Sure.
so they're like, "Hey, like, if you go, you're kind of asking, like, not asking for it, but like, you're putting yourself in a in an uncomfortable situation."
That is extremely. I love. First of all, just real quick, I love the idea that there was like a meeting of the minds about this. Like you could bring it to your people. You have a little huddle, and the consensus is right. This is not a great idea. You're putting yourself in a potentially bad situation. Is the
Exactly.
consensus? Okay, yeah,
And so I end up being like, I'm not gonna
right.
go. But and then so a month or two down the line, like, I had been thinking about this as like, that was a crazy day. That all
Yeah.
happened in one day. I was like, this is weird. What would it have been like? I end up being in Nashville and I'm talking to this guy he's like the most energetic, exciting, like, he's got middle linebacker. He's like, he was a football player and just has like, he didn't drink and was just chewing like Gatorade. I don't know if they still make them, like, have like little gummy like energy
Whoa.
things.
Oh God, I don't
So
remember
he was
that at
just
all.
sucking them up all night. And like, we were up till like 4 in the morning, just like
Okay.
like, yeah, like, cracked out on this Gatorade energy.
Mainlining Gatorade gummies. Okay, got it.
And he was like, "What's your best travel story so far? Like, you've been on the road, blah, blah, blah."
Right, right.
And I'm like, "Well, this interesting thing happened." Like, and then he goes, "How big was it?"
Wow.
And I was too ashamed to say I didn't go.
Right. Okay.
So I start
Uh-oh.
making up this story of like, "Oh, I was there, blah, blah, blah." Like, I'm lying.
Let me tell you right now, I absolutely, in this part of the story, I absolutely would have done the exact same thing.
Right.
I would have lied. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I felt bad about it,
Sure. Yeah.
because I'm like, I wasn't being truthful. And so another couple weeks down the line, I'm in Atlanta. I'm bored.
So this
And
whole time you're bouncing around the South just out of your backpack, correct?
yes.
Amazing. Okay.
And I'm like, I'm gonna look on couch surfing. I don't know why I went on it, but there's like a Hangouts feature too. That's not like you go stay at someone. It's like, oh, these people live here. They just want to do things.
Wow. Okay. You
And
the call of couch surf brought you back. You couldn't stay away for
I
too
don't know
long.
what happened. Like, I
Yeah.
really I can't describe it. It just brought me back.
Right. Okay.
It was probably like I had to pay like $10 or something for it, and I was like, I feel like I've wasted it.
Right. That's hilarious. Okay. That'll always get you into trouble. You're like, I got to get my money's worth. Always a bad idea. Yeah. But I totally get it. Okay.
So this person says, anyone want to go to a rodeo? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly.
Of course you do.
That's
You'd want
the
to go.
exact
Yeah.
kind of thing I want to do. I've never been to a rodeo.
Right.
I'm from California.
Mm-hmm.
And I go with him. We'll call them Jim.
All right.
And they're a Jamaican scientist is how they describe themselves. They do composting for a living.
Okay, so at first I thought like you were just like it was like Christian scientists, like it's their belief system, but this guy's from Jamaica and
From
he's a
Jamaica
scientist.
and a scientist.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Not like there's not a sect called Jamaican.
I don't know why my mind went there, but it did. Okay, I'm glad it clarified. Okay.
So we're talking and like we're not really on the same wavelength completely.
Mm-hmm.
Like where it's just the conversation isn't that easy. Like it's kind of
sure. He's a Jamaican scientist. You're just like a Jewish guy back with a backpack in the South.
Backpack guy, writer, right. Weird dude.
Right. Different cultural differences.
And like, just like personality wise, it's like when you're with someone, it's like you kind of know when you mesh and you don't.
Sure, of course, yes.
But like I felt safe with him. I end up we were talking about couch surfing, which he apparently used a lot. And like I tell him about the Memphis story. And he goes, oh, there's one of those in every city. And I'm like, okay, interesting.
One of those meaning like the nudist guy?
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I go, okay. My friends told me not to go, basically. Like, and he was like, oh, he wouldn't have done anything bad.
I mean, all right.
Okay. And I'm like, okay. I mean? I trusted this guy.
Okay.
Basically, I didn't trust him in terms of the other guy, but like I knew nothing. If I stayed with this guy, nothing bad would happen.
Okay, yeah. You trust this guy personally.
Yeah.
But not about the other guy. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And like I have this weird someone calls me. It's my I'm in a 12-step program and someone calls me. And he's like, you get a lot of calls, and it said like sponsee in it.
Sure.
And he was like, oh, like, are you in a program? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, I'm in OA, which is Overeaters Anonymous, which I had never met anyone in Overeaters Anonymous.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that. I gotta say I haven't met anybody in that either. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a interested person, like I'm sure you have a podcast where you're just asking people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah.
I'm just asking him questions, and he goes, yeah, it's really good, but like my sponsor won't let me finish the steps because he says my living situation isn't sober. And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I've sponsored people. Like, I would never say that. Like, I don't know where anyone lives. Like, that's weird. Like,
totally. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I live in this like outdoor industrial space and I have a tiny home in it.
Oh, okay.
Like, I built a sauna in it too. And I'm like, he's like, you should really come check it out sometime.
All right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And so we go to the rodeo. It's a good time. I'm with this guy like 6 hours. It's still a little weird, but like we have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to like him. And basically he was like, if you ever need a place to stay in Atlanta, let me know. 2 weeks later-ish, uh I was helping out a buddy of mine whose kid was just born 3 months premature.
Wow.
And he lived in Georgia. He had just moved there from Los Angeles, which is where I'm from.
Right.
And I was like helping him set up his house and like get his life together. And that kind of happened by coincidence, but it was like that's the kind of work where like I'm helping someone that I love to do.
Right.
Where I don't feel like a jail.
Right.
And so I'm there. He asked me to fly back to Los Angeles and drive his car across the country.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, that's great. Like I've always wanted to drive across the country. This is like a unique experience where I can do it for a good reason. And I'm in Atlanta the night before I'm flying out of Atlanta. And basically I need a place to stay. So I hit up Jim,
the Jamaican scientist.
Exactly.
Yep.
And he's like, yeah, I'd love to have you. And he goes, I'll cook dinner. And I'm like, amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
That's all. And then he goes, it's going to be a sauna night. Okay.
What's with this app, dude? Like there are just no normal people on it?
I think later I realized it's a hookup app.
Oh, well, it should be clearer about that then. It doesn't.
No, like, it's not supposed to be a hookup.
But people make it into one.
But it's turned in like anything.
I was just going to say.
Does weird things where they sort of.
Of course, it turned into that. I should have thought of that, but I didn't. Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm with you.
And I didn't know that at this time either.
Right. Why would you, if you're not using it for that, why would you ever suspect
exactly.
that? Yeah, right, totally, yeah.
So I get there at 10 o'clock. It's pretty late. I was in North Carolina. I get down there pretty late. I hadn't eaten all day. I was like starving. I show up and he goes, welcome to war-torn Syria. And I'm like, what?
Holy shit, man. Okay.
And to set the stage a little bit.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's dark.
Inside his home.
So there is no inside. Really.
Oh, great.
It's like a warehouse kind of area, like an outdoor warehouse. So the reason he called it war-torn Syria is there's like science projects like sprinkled all over the place. And like I can't really see anything that clearly because it's so dark.
Yes.
He also lives off the grid where he doesn't have like he shows me his batteries at one point.
Which is like how he runs the things in his house, you're saying, or in his home. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And like, so I go in, it had rained that day. So everything's like pretty moist and like wet.
So there's no thing over. Oh my God.
He has like a tiny home at the side of it. So if it's like a square, like there's a tiny home there, but there's no roof. Wow. And he has like an above ground pool that he's like, this is rainwater.
You are describing maybe the strangest living situation I've ever heard in my entire life. Is that like a normal response that you get when you tell this story? That is insane.
The setting, I don't know. It was so just, I didn't really know. And everything that was happening, like it kind of got to a place where like nothing would surprise me because it just kept getting where like at the beginning, he took me in, like after I'm looking around, I walk into this area and he's like, this is the squash room.
All right.
And I go into a room. I'm not good with measurements, but it's probably like 18 feet wide or something like that.
Okay.
And like 10 feet deep. And it's just filled to the brim with squash.
Squash the vegetable?
The vegetable.
Bro, what is this a dream you had? This happened?
This happened, I swear.
Okay. And it's dark, and it's here. Here's my first question before you continue. What, like, if I'm you, I'm like, I gotta leave now. Why weren't? Is it because you're tired and starving, and you just trust this guy, or what's going on in your
So
head?
that's part of it. I'd rented a car. So this was like the first time I had a car in like 2 months. And I was like, I can leave at any point.
Right.
I
So you
had,
had a way to leave.
yeah,
Okay.
I'd spent 6 months or 6 hours with this guy. So I kind of trusted him. And I sort of just try to say yes to everything.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's
You're
like,
still on the mode of you're saying yes,
exactly,
even though it looks like
basically,
something real bad's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
I try to live my life like the movie Yes Man. But
Right. I
like,
mean, that's
if it's,
yeah. Right.
if
Yeah.
it's not a movie, it ends up getting you in really, really weird.
Yeah, but I think that's why most people don't do that. But yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
like
yeah.
they, they should remake Yes Man, but it just ends up like
Terrible. And you
terrible.
end up in war torn Syria in a room of squash. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So he kicks me out of the squash room and he goes, "All right, I think it's time for this." I ask him, "So you like squash?" And he goes, "No,
Right. Yeah.
I hate it." He's like, "That's just what
What?
people compost."
Oh.
So it starts making a little sense.
He should have led with that, because that clarifies it. Instead of making it seem like he's the craziest man on earth, it starts to make a little more sense. He should have
Yeah,
led with that. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
When I tell the story, it's better to leave. He
Oh,
didn't leave
totally.
that
Yeah.
at first either, but like it's
Right.
better.
Yeah.
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 And so he's like, "All right, it's time for the sauna." And I'm
And
like,
let
"Okay,
me just do a mental check in. Where are you now? Are you just like, what?
I'm tired,
Okay.
I'm hungry," and I'm like, "Okay."
All right.
Uh, so he goes, "All right, I'll meet you." There's like a little spout with a shower, and he's like, "I'll meet you over there." And he's like, "You can put your clothes over there." And
Oh
I
boy.
get into my underwear
Right.
and I walk over and he's full. And
I'm sorry. Well, he's fully naked?
yeah.
Oh, okay. And he
And
doesn't say anything about it. He just is.
he goes, "I see you're shy."
Oh my God. Okay.
And then he goes, "I'll go put on some shorts." And I go,
Wow, dude.
"No, okay." Like, I'm like, "No, no, no. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable." And
Okay.
he goes, "It's no fun if it's just one of us."
Oh my God, dude. Okay. So, wow. Okay. And let me ask you
And
something real quick, though. Was there any indication that he was like, in your assessment thus far with your relationship, are you sensing that he's into you? Like, or is there any vibe like that, or what?
so he knew that I was straight.
Okay.
That had
And
come up.
you knew he knew, so you weren't like,
Yeah. And
okay,
I
okay,
also, like I said, when I was like, I trust this guy, like I knew he wasn't going to take advantage.
okay. Do you still know that?
Yeah.
Oh, you still know that at this point in the story.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Great. Great.
I
Okay.
think so. Like I'm
Amazing.
not,
Right. Yeah.
I didn't leave. Like I'm not
Okay.
really scared, you know?
No, yeah, scared. I get not being scared, but like, now aren't you thinking this guy wants to fuck me, right?
Yes, but
Okay.
no, I actually don't
No.
think so.
Okay.
No,
Great.
I think
Okay.
he was just being a nice guy.
Great. Got it. Okay. Got it.
And so he goes, "It's no fun if it's just one of us."
Mhm.
And I don't know what goes over my head. I was thinking about lying to the guy in Nashville.
Right.
And I was thinking about like the situation in Memphis and how I kind of felt like I had missed out.
Okay. So you're in a
I,
mode of like, I'm not gonna make these mistakes again.
yeah. And my brain is just spinning and I just drop my underwear.
Okay. Okay.
So for the rest of the story, we're both naked.
Okay. Okay. Hang on. Put yourself back there real quick. Do you remember why? Like the real reason why you did that?
I think the real reason was like this person's inviting me into their home or place of living. they're doing this. I had felt weird about the other situation.
Right.
I
Okay.
also like I watched your movie and like
Oh, wow.
I make movies, and every time I make movies, I like being naked in my own movie.
Okay. Well, there we got something in common. Yeah.
Yeah, like I find male nudity, particularly like when it's my body, is like one of the funniest things. So
Got it. Okay.
I'm pretty comfortable being naked.
So it's basically like when in Rome, when in war-torn Syria,
Exactly.
act as the war-torn Syrians do. Okay.
I
Yeah.
was also I felt bad about lying to that guy in Nashville. Like I felt like I'm a writer. I was like, I need a good story.
Well, you got one. Okay. Yeah. So now, okay. So you're naked.
Yeah.
In war-torn Syria, in the sauna in war-torn Syria, with the Jamaican scientist at his home. Okay.
Yes. And we're talking, and like, you know how the first conversation, like we weren't really on the same
Yes,
wave?
right.
Now I'm having like one of the deepest conversations ever.
Oh my God. This is great. You're going great for you.
Yeah. Like,
oh, wow.
Like he's talking about like getting outed in Jamaica and like things like that. I'm talking about like my relationship with my father.
Outed as like a homosexual, or outed as a, like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And like telling me like really personal stuff. And like, we're just having this like really deep, almost too deep.
Right. You're getting way far into the weeds with this guy.
Yeah.
Serious stuff. Yeah.
And he goes, like, we're in the sauna, and then he goes, all right, so you need to, he has this outdoor pool, the rainwater pool.
Right.
Which I hadn't really, in California, they don't really have these, but like I've seen them in movies and stuff where it's like, it's built up and it's just like a circular, like maybe 8 feet high. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. I've seen them. I've never been in one, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes,
and they just collect rainwater. Like that's actually what it is, right?
Yeah. Or this one is at least.
Right.
And he goes, and it had rained that day, so it was full. And he goes, rotations. We're going to go from the sauna and then to the pool.
Okay.
Which I'm not a big sauna person, but I understand that's like that's in vogue right now.
Okay. Like to go from the sauna to the pool is the order.
Hot, cold.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And he goes, so the way to get in, and I still like, I was there, but again, like my glasses are off. Everything was really dark and like, kind of like, it sort of is turned into this surreal memory.
Yeah. And right. Okay. Yeah.
There was this thing he called like the Tarzan swing. And it was basically like, I don't know where it came from because there was no roof. Like I still don't I don't remember where it came from, but it was like the way to get in was you step on like a pool chair kind of thing.
Okay.
And you have to like, I'll try to like get up and then grab the hook and then swing yourself over into the pool.
My God, why is it so complicated? Okay.
Yeah. He goes, there was like no like stairs like a normal pool would have, like, or.
And you're naked?
I'm fully naked. Yes.
Okay.
And he goes, let me know if you need a push. And I go, I'm not letting you. Like, I don't say this, but I'm like, I'm good. Like,
you're going to figure this out.
If I can do anything, I can do this. Okay? And so I pull myself up, I get into the pool, and he's like, wow, you're the first person who hasn't needed a push. And my head starts spinning. I'm like, how many people have had this exact situation?
I honestly that's where my head went to. Like, what do you mean? Like, how many times does this happen? Right? Like,
yeah.
What number am I, basically, you know?
Yeah, no. Yeah. So like, I'm like feeling weird, and I'm like, okay, so this is the craziest night of my life, but this is just Tuesday.
Right. To him. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And like we continue talking. He goes like, oh, like it's weird. Straight guys are actually like the most comfortable, like in saunas. He's like, you're pretty comfortable, like you're under. And he's a nice guy. Like I actually like we're having a good conversation.
Sure. Yeah.
We do about 5 rotations.
Back and forth,
like sauna pool.
So you swing your ass into the pool 5 times?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. He must have been like, I've never seen anything like this. He's never even saw somebody do it once.
When you're uncomfortable, you can do a lot of things.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
And so he goes, all right, I think the ribs are ready. And I'm like, awesome.
Yep.
I love ribs. Like, this will be great. And he goes to the barbecue and he pulls off the thing. And I go to put my clothes back on.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes the ribs and he brings them into the sauna.
So you're gonna eat in the sauna.
That's so I go, so do you eat in there?
Right. Yeah, that is weird. I never want to. I don't know. Yeah, water and food is like, what is going on here? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm just so confused and I'm fully naked. I go into the sauna, my head's spinning, and I'm kind of like, this is the most weirded out I had been.
Now, just because the ribs in the sauna,
Yeah, because okay.
dude,
One,
you're not more weirded out when he's like, you're kind of shy. Take off your pants. You're more weirded out about the ribs in the sauna.
no, because okay, with the you're kind of shy, he didn't tell me to take off his pants. He said he would put on pants.
Oh, right. Okay.
I just was like,
Fair
I was
enough.
sort of
Yeah.
meeting him where he was at. Like, I
Yeah.
felt more like this was like, you don't have an option. We're eating in the sun.
Okay. That is different. I appreciate the differentiation there. I get it now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting there. He's bringing the ribs. He's bringing in like accessories, and I'm
Does
like,
he have like wet
staring.
naps for the ribs, or do you just wipe your fingers in the sauna?
He
That's
had.
where
He
my
was
head
like,
is.
"Do you need napkins?" I'm like, "Of course I need Like,
Right.
so
Yeah.
my head is spinning because okay, one, I don't really like eating naked.
Who does?
Who
You know what
does?
I mean? Only
It's
him
just
and the
it's
guy in
gross.
Nashville. Yeah.
And then two, I definitely wouldn't want to. Ribs are the last food I would want to eat. Like
Yeah.
actually the last food.
Yes.
Like grapes, fine. Like
Fine.
something
Yeah.
that,
Right.
like
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
clean.
Mm-hmm.
Ribs,
Nah.
last food.
Totally. Yeah.
Three, I wouldn't want to do it in a sauna where I'm like, it's like 110. Like I'm heating up.
That sounds terrible. Yeah. That sounds like a way to ruin the meal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you want to ruin a meal, eat it in a sauna naked with a guy you barely know.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
my head
right,
is just spinning. Like I'm completely lost. And I'm staring at the fire, and to my side, he's to my left. He pulls out a machete,
Come on, dude.
like a knife, like about this. And don't this is about the end of the story. But so a machete about this long, maybe like it was pretty big. Like it was more than a knife.
Dude, any machete is scary.
Yeah, exactly. Like but I'm so focused in my head thinking about how weird this whole thing is. I don't react at all.
So you're not like, now I'm scared in a danger way. You're just
Yeah.
like,
I'm
he has a
frozen.
machete.
I'm frozen because my head's just so raveled up. You know?
Yeah. Also, you haven't eaten all day. Like you're not operating right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he goes and just starts hacking away at the ribs.
What the fuck, dude?
And I don't react at all because I'm just like, I can't believe I'm about to eat ribs naked in a sauna with a stranger.
Yeah.
And he goes, you know why I love this knife? This like machete? He goes, you know why I love this? And I go, why? And he goes, because it scares white people. I think you just had a different reaction than I did at this point. Why did you go?
Because you're white?
Yes.
And he's got a thing that, and he's not white, right? And he's like, this thing. Also, here's something I've been wanting to bring up, but was waiting. Like at various points along the way, I would have been scared. Like I have a mind. I'm like, this person's a killer, right? Like I always think about like this. I'm like not obsessed, but like I'm really interested in true crime and serial killers. So at various points along the way, if I'm you, I'm thinking this person might be a serial killer already. So when he does that to me, if I'm you, that's confirmation that he is a serial killer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Why?
Especially, and I combine that with you're the first one who's been able to do that without help. Like I'm going through all the things, and I'm like, I'm number 28 of the people he's killed or something. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Why do you think the murder thing, like, why do you think you have that? Because I don't really have that, but I have a lot of friends.
Yes. Right.
Who
Okay.
are
So
constantly afraid.
it's a good question. The answer is because you don't know. He's kind of a stranger, right?
Yeah.
Or he is a stranger. You are in a place that is remote.
Yeah.
And you're naked on his turf, and he has a machete, and he's saying, the people that are your race are afraid of that thing. You know what I mean?
I just think like there's not that many people who get murdered. I mean.
Yeah, but there are enough. There are enough.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm with you on that. I'm not like going around the world thinking I'm going to get killed.
Yeah.
But enough things have happened to you at this point that I'm like, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but you're not though. So okay, keep going. That's interesting.
So my reaction was actually the opposite. Because when he said, like, I like this machete because it scares white people, everything clicked for me. Like,
okay, tell me about that. Yeah, what do you mean?
Everything he's doing is to get a reaction. And this was like the first thing that I didn't really react to.
Right.
And so he tells me about it, and it's like, so everything is just to kind of get a reaction. Like, a couple minutes later, he goes, or like 20 minutes later, he's like, do you want hot chocolate? And I'm like, okay, sure. And he's like cooking it in the sauna.
Wow.
He also, if he eats the ribs in the sauna, he goes, I usually cook in there, but it would have taken too long.
As in the sauna?
He uses the heat from the sauna. Yeah.
That's not enough heat to cook ribs,
That's what I would think.
Like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
Okay.
But so, just to give you an example, like, he gives me this hot chocolate, and I take a sip, and it's like extremely spicy.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, what is in this?
Yeah, right. What is
it? It was given to me as hot chocolate.
Yeah, right. And hot chocolate isn't spicy.
Not spicy.
Right.
And he goes, oh, I put hot peppers in it.
All right, man.
Like, that's the kind of thing you tell someone before, unless you're trying to see their reaction, you know?
Right. So aren't you wanting to ask him, like, what's the deal with you? Right.
So that's what I started doing is I'm like, so you're just trying to get a reaction out of everyone? He's like, yeah, like, I kind of like putting people in like new uncomfortable situations. Like,
you're succeeding at that. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it kind of, for me, that like cleared everything up.
Right.
Like, I felt safe, you know, because I was
now you know what's happened. Now you know what he's doing, and
I know his motive.
Right. If you know it's to get a reaction out of you. Also, that is, at least for someone with my mind, that puts me more at ease because it's not 100%. Like you want to kill me. Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So like, if we go from like when I'm just sitting there and I'm like, what is going on? This is crazy. And then after the whole machete thing, I'm like, okay, like we're cool. And yeah, like it ends up, we are there for like 20 more minutes. He's like, the tiny home's damp. He's like, I'm actually house sitting for a friend of mine. Do you want to go over there? And I end up driving to another location. I call my friend on the way. I call my friend Alex and I'm like, hey, like, I'm just going to tell you everything that just happened.
Right.
And like, I'm going to send my location to you.
Good.
So like, I still have like a base level of fear.
Right. You're not like an oblivious idiot.
No.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like this is weird.
Yes.
But it's really interesting and it's
right.
It's a bucket list thing.
Sure. Everybody has what you experienced that night on their bucket list. Everyone I've ever met has that on their bucket list. So at that point, when he asks you, when he's like, do you want to go to this other house? How quickly are you like, yes?
100, like
before he even finishes asking the question, right? Okay, yeah. So what's that? Is it then just normal again? Or like what's happened? What happens there?
Pretty much like it's messy. Like the house is very messy. And he goes, you can have the bedroom that I've normally been sleeping in and I'll sleep on the couch. And I go, no, like, let me sleep on the couch. And he's like, no, I insist, you're my guest. And part of me still thought like there might be a cruel reason to this.
Right.
But because like if I caved so quickly when I took off my underwear,
Right.
like maybe I'll cave and be like, hey, come on, let's go. But
Right. Okay. Yeah.
that didn't happen. Like I
Right.
end up going in there. I'm exhausted. I lock the door. I go to sleep. Uh, I wake up. I catch my plane. I say
Wow.
goodbye. He still texts me.
Oh, so that was my next question to wrap up. Like, how often do you guys connect?
He like Instagram DMs me, and then I went to Mexico last year, like for 3 months. I was backpacking in Mexico, and he was like, "I'm here right now," and we met up there.
No way. You hung out with him again.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you're like, what? Yeah, we should get him in here. Yeah, then we should get Jim, the Jamaican scientist, in here. I wonder if he's in. I bet he's in his sauna right now. Wow, dude. So you've hung out with him now 2 times or more? Is there more?
So now it would be
No,
rodeo.
that would be 3.
Three.
Mexico.
Yeah, and Mexico was 2 days because I was staying in a hostel, and he ended up booking the same hostel.
Wow.
And that was another weird experience because I only knew this man as like this insane, like he's trying to get a reaction out of me, like weird ribs sauna naked.
Yeah.
But the other people at the hostel, like we go out to dinner and like they all think he's the most charismatic, like charming guy ever. Like everyone loves this guy.
Wow. And so wait, to your eye, the way he's behaving with those people, is it different than he was with you that night?
Probably a little. I think everyone is different one-on-one than they are in groups.
Of course. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So it was more like throwing out jokes, like still like some like it was the same guy.
Of course. Yeah.
Like there was still like he was showing me pictures of like chickens he had killed recently. Or no, raccoons and stuff. And like, yeah. But what's funny is like when he would message me, like it was always about the rodeo. And like
Back
to
to
me,
the
that's
first
like
time.
not even part of the story, you know?
Dude, of all the things that you told me, the rodeo is like the 28th most memorable thing. To him, though,
That
to Jim,
was the thing.
the Jamaican scientist, the rodeo, you know why? Because it's where he first met you. It's where to him, that's where the spark was. You know what I mean?
And that was his first rodeo.
That really was his first rodeo. Okay.
And
wow.
so he kept saying that to me, and he's like, I'm going to say this forever. Like that was his joke the whole time. But like that was his first rodeo. He's been in the sauna naked eating ribs with God knows how many people.
We don't even know. It could be in the hundreds. You don't know.
Yeah. And
oh wow.
One last thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show a picture because I don't want to.
Sure. Yeah.
Basically, my friends all think the funniest thing about this story is that he kind of just looks like the Jamaican version
of you.
Yeah, like we're
dude. That is hilarious. Also, though, you could not look less Jamaican. So, in my head, I'm having a hard time. But I think that's hilarious. I mean, so wait, this is like. Let me ask you just to clarify that you've shown more than one person Jim's picture.
Yes,
and more than one person has been like, "That's the Jamaican you."
Yes, like everyone who sees it is like, "Oh my god,
dude!" There's like some like weird, extra dimensional, intergalactic experience you've had, and maybe he's just you, but like on another wavelength, and you happen to pass at this very strange moment in time on Earth in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Where was the rodeo? Wasn't in Atlanta? Oh, that was in Atlanta.
It was like 2 hours north of Atlanta.
Wow. Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I honestly think 90% of people would at some point, unlike you, would at some point have thought, I think this guy's going to kill me like way earlier than you even came close to entering your mind. That being said, though, for someone like you who likes to get themselves into situations that might end up making great stories, you want to say yes to things, it makes sense that in your brain, you don't have that mechanism that most of us have. And that's probably why you have great stories. Because most people at some point along the way would have been like, I'm going to get fucking killed. And you're just like, oh, this is interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's good. It's a good way to live life. You know why? We're all going to die anyway.
Exactly.
So fuck it. Get the good story. Well, man, I'll tell you what, like I said at the very beginning, I was under the impression when you first came my way that we were going to talk about something very different, very serious. You mentioned it, something to do with it earlier, the 12-step program, but I'm happy we didn't do that because I'm sure I can talk to other people about a similar experience of theirs in such a, more dire sort of upsetting topic. This, I feel confident saying no one else could tell me this story. So I'm happy we got this one from you. And I appreciate your time. Who knows? Maybe if ever you happen to have a story that tops this one, we'll have you back on the show because this was fucking crazy.
Would love that.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks for having me.